Welcome to the state of Ohio. I'm Karen Kassler. The around 650 payday lenders in Ohio are charging the highest interest rates in the nation, and none of them are licensed under the Short-Term Loan Act that state lawmakers passed in 2008, a law that voters upheld when the industry tried to get them to overturn it. There's another ballot issue that could go to voters this fall if a bill in the State House that seeks to cap payday lending interest rates doesn't move. And though a survey last year showed 7 in 10 people want payday lending reform, that measure has not gone forward. State House correspondent Andy Chow reports.
It just snowballed so bad, and I couldn't get out of that hole.
Denise Brooks, a single mother from Cincinnati, was desperate to pay her car insurance bill, so she took out a loan from a payday lender.
I could barely pay my bills, and I owed them, and I couldn't borrow any more. I was maxed.
Brooks says that loan only caused more problems.
You're thinking temporarily, just get me over this hump. But then with the interest rates and everything, it's not just getting you over the hump, it's starting you into a hole that you cannot dig yourself out of.
That was 8 years ago. Brooks, who was able to get out of the debt with some help from family, is sharing her story to make sure others don't become what she sees as victims of predatory lending. A Pew Charitable Trust study in 2016 showed Ohio has the highest payday lending interest rates in the country, topping out at 591%. And that's 4 times the rate paid in other states. Brooks and a group known as Ohioans for Payday Loan Reform are calling for strict interest rate caps at 28% and for closing any loopholes around that cap. Those regulations are in a House bill that has seen its share of starts and stops in the past year. Republican House Speaker Cliff Rosenberger said in February that leadership has been working on a compromise. Speaker Pro Tem Kirk Schuring says he wants to help move that bill forward.
The payday lenders, in many cases, put these folks in a position where they're entrapped and they can't get out of their loan requirements.
But Schuring is recommending changes to the bill that could steer away from the strict interest rate caps. They include refusing a new loan if a borrower has an active loan, requiring a 3-day waiting period before taking out a new loan, allowing a 3-day right to rescind a loan, creating an interest-free payment plan, and finding a way to bring other groups into the payday lending game, such as credit unions. Schuring says these changes would create avenues for borrowers to get out of debt and avoid those high interest rates.
More options, more competition, and if there's competition, that usually drives down costs. Now, it doesn't mean there can't be a ceiling on interest rates, but it means that one of the ways you can ensure that the borrower is going to be paying the lowest interest rate possible is to make sure there's options for the borrower and a marketplace that drives down costs.
Carl Ruby, with Ohioans for Payday Loan Reform, says these changes water down the original bill.
We're not at all willing to go into a situation where there's no cap at all.
Schuring says these suggestions are just a starting point to bring both sides to the table, and that the strict interest rate cap is still an option. Patrick Crowley is with the Ohio Consumer Lenders Association, which represents the payday lending industry. He says there's a lot of misleading information in this debate. For example, he notes those huge interest rates are calculated annually, but most loans are set for a period of 2 to 4 weeks.
I could say the same thing about if I wanted to look at an interest rate on when I take an ATM. I take $20 out and I get charged $2. I mean, what would the APR be on that? It'd be exorbitant.
Crowley says stories like the one told by Denise Brooks are rare, adding that he takes issue with the accusation that payday lenders prey on the desperate.
That's a ridiculous talking point by the people who want to put us out of business for whatever reasons. The service is available because people need it and people use it. There's nothing predatory about it. Again, our customers, and we've done studies, we've done polling. Our customers know our service. They like our service. They want our service. That's why we're in communities, because people use it. The market speaks.
And the industry does have a lot of customers in Ohio. The Pew study says around 1 million people, or 1 in 10 Ohioans, has taken out a payday loan. Ruby, who's also the pastor at Central Christian Church in Springfield, says people in his community are driven to depression and even suicide because they can't climb out of debt. Ruby argues that the reforms proposed in the original House bill are sensible.
they're trying to scare people into believing that all access to emergency cash is going to go away if we impose any regulations at all, and the data just shows that that's not true.
The bill has had 3 committee hearings since it was introduced more than a year ago. And critics note the payday lending industry is a prolific donor to political campaigns, giving more than $1.6 million in contributions in the last 9 years, including donations to current House Speaker Cliff Rosenberger and Governor John Kasich. Gubernatorial candidates Joe Schiavone and Mike DeWine, along with DeWine's running mate John Husted, have also seen campaign contributions from the payday loan industry. Ohioans for payday loan reform aren't waiting for lawmakers to act. They're circulating a petition to get their regulations onto the ballot in November. While the industry has found ways around the law that capped interest rates in 2008, Ruby and his group believe the bill and their ballot measure would close those loopholes for good.
All right, thanks, Andy.